Hi guys, this is the 8th lesson on 8th, pun intended. Okay, today we are going to talk about variables in 8th. There are two ways to initialize a variable. The most simple one is using the var word. When I use var and the name of the new variable, for example my var, and I enter, then I can retrieve the value of my var by using the add word, and the dot and the cr are just to show it. Okay, you see that the value is 0, so when you use var you initialize a variable, in this time called my var, with always the same value, namely 0. Okay, that's one. Then there's another word which is called var comma, and this one initializes the value which is a variable with the value which is at the top of the stack. So for example, when I say 10, I put it on the stack, and then var comma, and then numVar is the name of the variable, and I enter. And when I then retrieve numVar with the add word and I print it, it's 10. Okay, so that should be clear. Now it is so that in a lot of languages, static languages like C, you define variables with a fixed static type. So you define a variable as an int, and that variable can only contain an int. In 8th it's different. In 8th you can put any value in any variable. So when I want to put a new value into numVar, I can use the exclamation mark. So for example, now I'll put a string into numVar, and we use the set, the exclamation mark word. NumVar and the exclamation mark. Yes, and then I can retrieve numVar with the add, and we see that now the string is the value of numVar. So we can change the type of the value in a variable. That's a bit of strange, and you should get acquainted to it. Then there's something else we can do. I can redefine a variable which is already in existence. So for example, when I want to redefine numVar, I can do var numVar. And then 8th excuse me, 8th warns us that we are overwriting the word numVar, which is in the G namespace or class. And when we now retrieve numVar, we see it has the value of 0. So that's very important to remember, that a variable contain any data type. The variables themselves do not have a data type, but their values have a data type always. So it's tricky. You should be very careful and not use the same variable for different data types, because it's very confusing when another programmer should read your program. There's another thing very important, namely that 8th variables are global to the namespace or the class they're defined in. Like we see now, the variable numVar is in the G class or namespace, but we can define variables in other namespaces. That way we can avoid really global variables, which would be very nasty and is considered bad programming, to have all global variables. And the most important thing, which I mentioned at the beginning, usage of variables should be minimized. In almost all cases you should use the stack as the intermediate data carrier. In that case it's always very clean, your program, and you shouldn't have many variables. Okay, that's enough for now. You can find more info about 8th on their website, which is www.8th-dev.com. I hope we'll meet again. Goodbye for now.